Check, 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 check. I've been hanging out with the Pico, some experimenting with some different accessories and some stuff on here. The facial interface, I've been talking about a little bit. It's not terrible. Over time, it's getting better on my face. It's kind of breaking down to my face shape weirdly. But I've been wondering, is there something that'll make it a little more comfortable? VR Cover hit me up and said, hey, we've got something for that. VR Cover for the Pico 4. Let's open this up. Always be safe. Small, sharp unboxing knife. You don't want to hurt one of your friends or someone who's nearby you. Knife. So this is the typical VR Cover style cover. It's their fabric, their logo's on there, and it's just a slip-on cover that goes over this. More than anything, it's for hygiene purposes. It's to catch your sweat and stuff, not let all your face oils get into or on a facial interface.
Why are you all wet?
But some people say it added the comfort they were looking for. I may refer to the instructions because this seems like a slightly different design than normal with these hoops. Okay, I give up. I'm gonna look at the instructions real quick. I love the little envelope they send the instructions in. Oh, they want you to lift out the nose guard. Oh boy, hadn't taken that out yet. It says first put this around the connector pins, then put this over the top, attach the lower strap to the nose guard connector. Oh boy. I don't envy VR Cover's job of like designing things like this because I feel like this would be such a pain in the butt to make something. Like I'd rather replace the whole facial interface than figure out a way to like make a cover that's gonna fit. It's like making custom seat covers for cars. Seems like so much work. It's gotta fit it perfectly and you have to make it in a way that people who get it can figure out how to get it on just right. Hopefully you get better at this after a couple times because I definitely feel like there's two, so you can like wash them in between uses and stuff. But I feel like with how much trouble I'm having getting this on this time, I wouldn't want to do this again and again.
Too many steps.
I also feel kind of surprised there's not more fabric to where this will hang over the inside. It seems like it just kind of goes on the outside. It feels like it should go in there, but I guess that could get in the way of your view. I just feel like this is weird that it's not wrapping inside as well. It's only a thin amount of fabric. I mean, it might change the way it feels on your skin, but it's not really gonna add more padding or anything for your cheekbones here like I was hoping. I'm gonna look at this again. I think I did this all right. It's acting like I need to go under. Oh boy, feels like I'm stretching that a lot. That does look better that way, I will say. Okay, so it's acting like it wants to be underneath. It definitely looks like a cover. You definitely aren't gonna convince anybody that this is now part of the headset forever and it was meant to be there. It looks like an addition. The bit of cotton, it does feel a little better on my face. I'm getting a tiny bit less of a light bleed because it's covering a little bit under here. But the big question is how is this gonna feel long-term, sweating, games that are gonna keep me going. So I'm gonna take this away for a while, I'm actually about to go on a trip. So I'm gonna take it, test it with some stuff and get back at you with some final thoughts on these VR covers once I've had to swap a few of them out to see if that gets a little easier. So I will be back.
Many months later.
VR cover for the Pico 4. Done about a month with this thing. Comes with a couple extras, which is something I ended up really liking about it. Putting it on the first time was a little difficult. After you do it a couple times, you get pretty quick at putting the facial interface part on and off and just putting those over it. So that wasn't such a pain like I kind of initially thought it would be. The one thing I learned, as you might have seen, I always pull the top strap forward and hold it because that thing likes to just fall off when you're doing this, so.
It just flops.
It's a decent addition. It doesn't look incredible. I mean, all these VR cover things, they always kind of stand out as something extra on there. But if you're playing sweaty games, something that's keeping you really active, it's nice. It soaks up that sweat, it keeps it off your face, keeps the padding in here from getting as gross because that padding is also prone to soaking up sweat. It doesn't add as much comfort to the facial interface as I would have liked. I mean, it's only cloth. What's it really gonna do? But I still had that issue with the facial interface kind of always pushed on my cheekbones, and this didn't really help that, but at least I wasn't adding a whole bunch more sweat in the mix and just chafing my skin really bad. Ultimately, with all the VR cover stuff, I always wish it came with 3, because I feel like 2 is just never quite enough for me to get through a load of laundry before I wash them, and I always end up short one.
A crank a day is not nearly enough.
If you're doing really sweaty games, or if you got a Pico and you're like, I'm gonna use this for my fitness, I'm gonna use this for my exercise, it is nice to just be able to take these off when you're done. They're soaked in sweat though, and then just throw them in the washing machine. For fitness, not necessarily comfort, that was something you're really looking for, I would say it's a worthy addition to help catch a lot of that sweat. With that, I will leave a link in the description. Again, Pico's only available in Europe and Asia, so I'll try and leave some kind of an Amazon link over there where you can still get these if you want them. Ultimately, if you were a hardcore fitness enthusiast and you're really gonna use this for that, I would kind of say you need 2 sets and then you end up with 4, but then you're gonna be paying quite a bit. So I'll leave a link for those who are interested with those caveats, but I will say it's been nice getting it sweaty and being able to just have that on there, swap it off. It's gonna ultimately keep your facial interface itself in better condition over time. But keep in mind, there is some other facial interface options for this headset. So maybe if we've gotten the other videos out, if we review the other ones, check those out first before you make a big purchasing decision. It might turn out that there's a facial interface that's just better overall for fitness, and I don't end up using these in the long run. So a couple things to keep in mind, but once again, thank you so much for being here with me. We're almost at 50K. I really appreciate all of you once again. So thank you, and I'll see you in another reality.